Hi there, I'm Darrious Hilmon.
And I'm Sylvia Snowden.
This fall, CAN TV embarks on the next exciting chapter of its storied history with the launch of CAN TV signature programs.
We're making 7 p.m. weeknights on CAN TV19 appointment television for Chicagoans who demand hyperlocal, high-quality programs to cover the topics and issues that matter most to them.
Start your work week with Real Talk with Just for Girlfriends. Every Monday, co-hosts and real-life best friends Angelique David, Robin McFarland, and Michelle Skinner will explore a variety of topics designed to enlighten, inform, entertain, and sometimes unnerve. But no matter what's being served up, the conversation will always include a call to action, key takeaway, or a useful tip or two that Chicagoans can incorporate into their daily lives.
I hope you have some advice for the singles out there how to navigate this potential minefield.
Yep, it is very different today. It's a whole new ball game, so to speak. You know, there's a lot of new apps, and there's different apps for different types of people, and it gets very overwhelming. What my clients tell me at It's Just Lunch all the time is they're burnt out. It's called dating fatigue, swiping fatigue, because a lot of these dating apps, these people are on, the singles are on, they're excited at first, and then it's endlessly swiping, non-stop.
Lefts and rights.
Lefts and rights, and a lot of these never even come to fruition. Nothing happens, you know, it's fun at first, it's, oh, exciting, I'm talking to somebody new, but then after a back and forth for 2 days, 3 days.
No date.
No dates,
Right.
you know, and I always say to my clients too, that you know what, if a day goes by and they're not asking you out, time to move on. That's it.
Oh, so wow. So it's literally a day?
I'd say so. Listen, if you're talking to somebody back and forth for, and I'm talking a whole day, you know, so texting can go on the whole day, girl.
Right.
So if that's the case, you better want to meet up with me, you know, and,
Right.
you know, take me to lunch or take me to dinner, because if this is going on for 3-4 days a week, something's fishy there. Something's not right, so.
Tuesday, the conversation continues with For the Culture. Host Christina Steed uncovers and unpacks unique perspectives on culture and life with the help of dynamic guests and engaging conversations. From arts and entertainment, pop culture, and trending news to diversity, inclusion, and women's issues. For the Culture has it covered.
We were looking at this article in NPR talking about how HBCUs are building a new prison to college pipeline. So we hear a lot about school to prison pipeline, but HBCUs are doing this initiative where they are actually trying to change the game. There's mentorship during when people are incarcerated to try to get their minds ready to just pick a new path, choose a new path. So what do you think about this, where the schools like Howard University are trying to change this narrative and really create an opportunity for students?
I think the role of HBCs have been always to go into the Black community and address some ill. I think they've been located in places where they hoped they were examples for the communities that they were surrounded. I think they have always had a role in providing, whether it's Howard Medical, whether it's Morehouse Medical, Meharry, specializing and training and being very, with a real constitution and mission to serve the entire Black community. So I'm not surprised. Howard clearly is a leader. I think that we know that many young men, they talk about health disparities, but Christina, there clearly are crime disparities. You're in the wrong zip code, you're gonna grow up in the wrong situation.
Right.
What's up, America? A part of a privileged life is you get a privileged set of circumstances. Obviously, there are those inside the Black community, and far too many, that don't have an option, get caught up, and then, the outreach needs to happen from inside Black intellectual community. So that's all this looks like to me.
Join us on Wednesdays for one of CAN TV's most popular programs, hosted by the one and only Sylvia Snowden. Whether it's an exclusive interview with the Cook County State's Attorney or breaking news on Election Day regarding voting irregularities, Political Forum is the place where politicians and political newsmakers come to discuss the most important political headlines in Chicago.
I appreciate that you are the very first Black woman to have your job, just as Mayor Lightfoot is the very first Black woman to have hers. And I wanted to know if you feel, though, like sometimes the media does attempt to pit the two of you against one another when it comes to the issue of crime.
Yeah, I will be honest. Like, it is a historic time for our city and our county to have a Black woman mayor, a Black woman state's attorney, a Black woman county board president. It is unprecedented, right? And I think for some folks, they don't give the benefit of seeing us as policymakers and leaders, and rather only see our race and our gender.
Welcome back to our preview of CAN TV's signature programming. We're making 7 p.m. weeknights on CAN TV19 appointment television for Chicagoans who demand hyperlocal, high-quality programs that cover the topics and issues that matter most to them. Sylvia?
Want to be a part of the solution? Then tune in Thursdays for Change Agents. Each week, host and civil rights attorney Sylvia Sohel will place a spotlight on a critical issue impacting Chicagoans, from homelessness, domestic violence and food inequity, to bail reform, hate crimes, and mental health. Change Agents will introduce viewers to nonprofit and community organizations working to make a difference, and share ways that each of us can do the same.
People in our own backyards are hurting. There are insecurities around food, economics, mental health, access to justice, healthcare, and our society continues to become more divisive. But there is hope. Right here in Chicagoland, there are people and organizations who are on the front lines, working to bring about positive and transformative change. Each week, we're going to meet some of these agents of change and examine how they are spurring innovative ideas and finding solutions to push our society forward in a more just direction. I'm Sufyan Sohel, and this is Change Agents. Some statistics for you. 1 in 5 Americans will experience mental health challenges this year, and 40% experience mental health challenges sometime in their lifetime. 13.4% of the U.S. population identifies as Black or African American. Of those, over 16% reported having a mental illness over the past year. That is over 7 million Americans. 40 to 60% with need do not get treatment. People in the Black community are 50% less likely to not get treatment. Black Americans, specifically Black women, face significant disparities in mental health care. They historically have faced social and racial injustices and are statistically some of the most disadvantaged people in the United States, often simultaneously experiencing racism, sexism, financial insecurity, and community violence. To speak about this more is our first guest today, clinical psychologist, assistant professor of Northwestern University School of Medicine, and author of Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, Dr. Inger Burnett-Ziegler. Dr. Burnett-Ziegler, thank you so much for having us today. May I call you Inger?
Of course. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So let's just jump right in. Black women experience higher levels of mental health conditions, but they also are less likely to receive treatment. Can you talk a little bit more about this, please?
Sure. We know this is greatly due to the disproportionate burden of stress experienced by Black women. We know that Black women experience more stress related to employment and employment instability, related to finances, poverty, racism, sexism, as you mentioned, also family health and community violence. We also know that stress is very closely linked to mental health challenges as well as physical health challenges. This stress can lead to conditions like depression, anxiety, things like community violence and exposure to gun violence and even sexual violence can lead to traumatic stress. And so by carrying that disproportionate burden of stress, Black women are at greater risk for mental health conditions.
And this is Change Agents.
And closing out the week is In the Arena, hosted by the one and only Darrious Hilmon. Every Friday, Darrious will have thoughtful, fair, and honest kitchen table conversations with the people who make Chicago one of America's greatest cities. Each week, Darrious will sit in the arena with businesses and civic leaders, community activists and artists, business people, and other change makers, asking the obvious and not so obvious questions.
3, 2, 1. Here we go!
And my parents were both heroin addicts. The way my mother put it was, and I didn't meet my mother until I was 18, said that they were two junkies getting together. And sometime after my first birthday, my paternal grandfather took me to raise me. So after that first birthday, somewhere between 1 and 2, he took me from my parents. My father was shot in the back of his head by his first cousin. It was an accidental shooting. And I learned the details through the research because I had always been told one story. And I learned the truth. He was 31 years old. He had just turned 31.
My goodness.
And so my grandfather married this woman to help him raise his child, his grandbaby, you know, like old men do.
Was that the foundation on which the marriage was?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. He was 52, she was 30, something like that.
And we're talking about Mama now.
Mama. And so he died when I was 6 years old. And no one wanted me. Well, not quite true, I found out. But Mama told me every day, nobody wanted your little white ass. And I believed it.
What a fantastic way to kick off CAN TV's 40th year of service to Chicago and Chicagoans.
Yes, Sylvia. We're excited to make 7 p.m. weeknights on CAN TV appointment television for Chicagoans who demand hyper-local, high-quality programs that covers the topics and issues that matter most to them. We're putting the hype in hyper-local television.
Oh, and streaming. Don't forget streaming. You can live stream all CAN TV channels online anytime, anywhere. You can also get full access to the entire CAN TV library of shows, see our programming schedule, and sign up for training classes on CAN TV's new enhanced website.
And it's optimized for your mobile device.
Check it all out at cantv.org. And Darrious, I'll definitely be watching your show In the Arena on Fridays at 7 p.m.
And I will continue watching your show, Political Forum, on your new day and time, Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Be sure to check out all CAN TV's signature programs on CAN TV19 every weeknight at 7 p.m. or stream them at cantv.org. Be sure to tune in, and thank you for joining us.